Hello. Yesterday, we talked about ways that you can turn a short vowel sound into a long vowel sound. Actually, we talked about one way, which was to add a silent E to the end of the word. So for example, we turned can into cane, right? By putting the silent E. The silent E makes the vowel say its name, which is the long vowel sound. And when I was doing that lesson with you, I talked about a mole because mole was one of the words we made with the flip chart that we were using. Now, later on, I was thinking about the word mole and I was talking to someone about it, and I said, I told the kids that a mole was an insect. And they said, no, a mole is not an insect. And so I was really worried because I didn't want to say something to you that was wrong. So I've come back today to talk to you about the word mole again, and actually to use the word mole to spell other words. Some of the words will actually be longer because I think if you know how to spell mole, that you can read and spell other words. So we're going to do that today. But first I want to go over the three meanings of the word mole. So we said, all right, so a mole can be something that's on your face or on some part of your body. Like I told you, I have one right here. It's just a mark that you have. Sometimes they can be big and sometimes they're small. And on this lady's face, I just found a picture of her online. That dot right there, that's a mole. So if I had to, I'm just gonna circle it. Okay, right there, that's a mole. I wonder if there's anyone in your house, in your family, that has a mole. Might even be you. So think about that. See if you can find one. Now, we also said that a mole can mean someone who is a spy. So you could tell that this character is a spy because she's got her magnifying glass and the trench coat and the hat so she can hide. And she's planning to do some work in secret and maybe spy on someone. And another word for that is a mole. Now, I also said that a mole is an insect, and that is wrong. A mole is actually a type of rodent, kind of like a possum or a squirrel or chipmunk. But these guys can be small, and they dig holes under the ground where they live, and they actually eat insects. So when I told you yesterday that they were insects, that was definitely wrong because they actually eat that. They're furry and they've got these claws and they've got pretty long, sharp teeth, although this picture is not showing you what they look like with their mouth open. If you have the internet at home, you can look at pictures of this kind of mole, and you can see that the different ways that they look. So yeah, this is definitely not an insect. So I wanted to correct that. So now what I'm going to do is move you over here. And we're going to talk about the word mole, and we're going to use that since we know the OLE pattern. We're going to use that to make some other words that we might know. So if I change the M to a p sound, I can make this word. What word? That's right, that's pole. And how about if I say, if I say to you, a mole lives in a, what's that? Hole. That's right. Now this is the kind of hole that you can dig in the grass, right? Like that. I'm just drawing a hole, like a hole in the sand. But then if I use the WH digraph, which still sounds like because the W is silent, this is the word hole also, but that has a different meaning. Do you guys know what the meaning of that hole is? I always like to think of food when I see this word, because I would say, well, I ate the whole cookie. That means I didn't leave any left. I ate the entire thing. All right, let's try a longer word. Now, the word hole, so now we're going from mole to hole, that can have a few different word parts that come before it. So for example, watch. That was my dog barking. He barks whenever he smells a squirrel outside. So let's try this. Going to put two fists in front of me, and this will be for the first word part, and this will be for the second word part. So for example, if I said to you, put your key in the key hole. So the first part would be key, second part would be hole, and they make the word keyhole. All right? Now, let's change key to cubby. Now, the new word is cubbyhole. Let's try that. Cubbyhole. Now, change cubby to peep. Now we've got peephole. All right, let's see if we can remember the three words we just made. We've got key, hole, cubby, hole, and we've got peephole. Now, these words all have the word hole inside, but they all have also the O-L-E, right? And let's think about that for a second. A keyhole, a cubbyhole, and a peephole are all kind of small holes, if you think about that. When you stick your key in a door, that little hole that you stick your key into, it's got to be small because it's got to perfectly fit the key. And then the cubby holes that you might be using at school to put your books in, those aren't too big. They're not the size of a closet. They're small too. And then a peephole, like the kind that you look through your door to see who's on the other side, that's a small hole too. Now, the reason that's important is because the O-L-E word part, ole. Let's see. Remember I said it has the word ole in there. O-L-E is a word ending that usually means small. So when you see the OLE at the end of a word. A lot of the times, they are describing something that is small. So think about that. Let me bring this camera up to my face. Think about that. If you know that a word part has a certain meaning, that will help you to read the word, spell the word, and also figure out the meaning of the word. That word ending is giving you a clue. So I have another word that has an OLE at the end. And I want you to think about whether or not the OLE ending makes sense for this word. It's a word you probably know, but now that you know that OLE means small, let's think about whether or not this makes sense. I want to prove it to you that OLE means small in most words. Take a look at this word. Let's see if we can figure out that word. So we know that the OLE means ole, right? And then if we break this up into syllables by looking at our vowels and making sure that there's a consonant at the end of the vowel and breaking it up this way. This ending part with the OLE, p, o, p, pole. So that's pole. And the beginning part is just a consonant vowel consonant word, tad, tad. This word is tadpole. Now, do you guys know what a tadpole is? If you can't figure it out, ask someone at home and you can tell them, I know it has something to do with something small. Yes, a tadpole is a baby frog. And baby frogs are smaller than adult frogs. So when you look at the word tadpole, doesn't it make sense that there's an OLE at the end? Because a tadpole is a small baby frog. This is what I'd like you to do. Now that we've made several words with an OLE at the end, I want you to try this at home. I want you to think of at least 5 more words that you can read and spell that end with an OLE and write them down, because OLE is one way of making the long O sound. And the next time I'm with you, we're going to talk about another way to make the long O sound. And I want us to go over this part first so that we can add on to it. So I will post the assignment that goes along with this video, but it's really just to think of some more words that you know that have the OLE spelling pattern. And also ask yourself if that word you're making has something to do with something that's small. For example, a mole is small, which is why it has OLE at the end. Okay, so I will see you back here. The next time you do a lesson with me will be after spring break. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your time with your families, and I'll see you soon. Bye.